Yo. This is your boy Taryn the Black, man. This is the Sinners Talk, man. Sinners Talk, man. Um right now, hold on, let me make sure I turn this music down. It did get louder after that intro. That's weird that it did that. Right now, man, this is like my favorite movie. I said favorite movie. Um quick premise. Um this is this movie is about it's basically to Dust to Dawn. The premise is set in 1930s Delta, Mississippi, Jim Crow era. But it's way more than that, man. It's pretty. It was a pretty deep movie. Um, I've been like really intrigued on the theories coming out of this movie, man. Now, if y'all know that I will be getting into the spoilers. I will be getting into theories. I will be getting into deeper meanings. Um, Link is pinned if y'all want to jump in and discuss it with me. But like, I've been very fascinated about this movie and the premise of Kugler used in the backdrop. Um, I would say this is a good date movie. I would say this. Me and my old lady went Sunday. Like, we didn't go Easter Sunday when this movie came out because it was kind of weird. The kids was here and stuff. But we had a little time off from away from the kids. They went to their aunties. Appreciate that, Phoenix. Matter of fact, let me pause real quick. I gotta do something real quick. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, there you go. I got that done. All right, that's done. Um, yeah, this movie's deep. It's not just your regular. Hey, we're gonna go hunt vampires. We're gonna go do this, go do that. It has a lot of deeper connotations. It's not your typical Jim Crow South movie where we deal with the big struggle of civil rights and anything like that of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's more of it's more of it's really breaking down a lot of cultural pieces that every culture on the face of this earth dealt with once upon one time or another. Um, I like the fact that it gave more. I'm it gave the vampire wasn't this evil vampire, sinister and just laughing and everything. He actually had a motive. He had you could kind of in a crazy way feel for him a little bit. Like he was a vampire with soulless and the whole nine, but he still had his humanity. He had a put it this way. I've always said this like when it comes to our culture, I'm talking about in general American culture, society. Two things made the culture what it is today, and that's the slave and the soldier. And they attack a lot of that what what would you call it? Attack a lot of that premise. See, like it Ron Coogler was masterful at this, where he uses what we want to see and what we want to hear. I'm talking about in general as African American culture. Like, hey, about people stealing our culture and everything. That's been a trope for years, and some of it's true. And some of it's been, like everything, every premise, every narrative. There's a truth to it, and there's there's an embellishment to it too. So what I did like about the villain is that he wanted to use our culture to connect to his culture because he's been so gone away from it. He kind of been robbed of it because of his immortality and whatever. So it begs the question like, what does all this mean? Like, so right now I got a couple articles up. Right, I got the Screen Rant article. I have a variety article, then like theories coming from like social media, and this movie it hit different. I don't know. It's not your typical vampire movie where bad guy dies and the whole nine or whatever. It's I can see them doing a sequel of this. If y'all watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because right now we kind of living in. I could say you could have use the plot that we're living in right now with pop culture, how pop culture is today, and the culture vultures, the whole nine. You can run a Sinners today based off of like what's in current news with a lot of the hip hop moguls and what's going on with certain football stars or whatnot. So there's a argument to be made that like, hey, if Kugler did do a sequel, it could be placed right here, right now, with like how pop culture treats celebrities and how the industry treats celebrities and how you have to give up a piece of your soul in a way to get to stardom, which that's another trope of this movie. So basically, they asked the question why the movie was called Sinners. So it goes in to say like it says a mystery. So I'll paraphrase this whole thing. I say it right now. The title sentence itself is somewhat mysterious and questions what we are supposed to think of as a sin in this narrative. Sammy's father, Saul Williams, a local preacher, tries to sway his son away from playing blues music, specifically in context of places like the Twins playing club, which run on booze, pleasure. However, the movie itself hardly condemns these actions. When the party is painted as one of the best ways for people to come together, seeking relief from hard work and through Sammy's music, connecting them to their ancestors and descendants. That's another thing that was really big on this movie is a connection to community was real big in this movie, right? Which so my theory on this, I say let me quote what Kugler said. It kind of goes along with my theory on the whole movie and what was really the true sin. This movie for me was about identity, as my movies always are, and how people see themselves. Smoke sees himself as a father and a man who unredeemable because of his past sins, but he also sees himself as a soldier. For him, soldier means a killer. He's a killer. So the number one premise of this movie really, and just like what Kugler said, like he just gave one example of one of Michael B. Jordan's twins he was playing. One of them was like a straight lace, cold blooded war vet, and the other one was like a old school shiesty, gangster type. Both of them was gangsters, but one was was about to get in the bag, and the other one was about putting people in bags, pretty that much. And you go deeper in why one was different than the other. So basically, my theory on what was considered sin in this world was not necessarily the sin we know it as, like adultery, lust, the whole nine, wrath, pride, envy. It was more allowing those urges to take away from your identity, your purpose, which that's what a lot of sin does. Like it takes away from what you actually supposed to be doing. Because with sin, it comes with guilt and whole nine, like all the other underlying situations. So a lot of the characters, main characters, were dealing with a lot of guilt of their past sin, what society, what society wanted them to be, that didn't really jive on who they believe they were. And that was a common theme with a lot of the characters, with the main character. And I would say this: the main character is the newcomer, Sammy. The new, I forgot his name. After, let me get his name. The dude who plays Sammy Moore is Miles Caton. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So to me, to break it all the way down, and this is my theory, I I feel like Sammy was the only protagonist in this whole movie. Hey, appreciate it, appreciate it. Hey, Genesis, I hope you watch Sinners, because I'm going through the deep. I'm probably going to be spoiling it for you if you haven't watched it. I apologize for it in advance. Like I put it in the description. So back back to my theory. I feel like Sammy was the only protagonist in this whole movie. He was constantly dealing with people trying to take him away from his purpose on being a blues singer. That was what he had, and he that was a common trope in this whole movie. It's like everybody saying, "Well, okay, bet." Um, Everybody's trying to get him because they put. It happens a lot when you talk about your dreams with people. They put their own, what, how should I say it? They put their own guilt and their own trauma and pain on you, so to dissuade you from your dreams. So, honest got you. What is the true sin in this movie? Was it the actual act of sin, or was it the product of when you commit sin, with the guilt and changing your whole landscape, not whole your whole trajectory of life, because of you feel guilty, you can't. And plus, a lot of people cannot, in this movie, did not forgive themselves for their position in life. Like they heal a lot of trauma in, which understandable, because like a lot of the stuff they went through was put upon them, as in with Jim Crow and whatnot. So I go a little bit. I went on a tangent there. There are conflicting and complementary motifs and centers of the characters doing questionable things, but for the good cause of bringing people together, or simply because society hasn't left them many other options, which I just discussed. Or sin is also just what society is, like people having a wild night of their own free will. The title Sinners seems to refer to the group of people whom the story is about, but it presents a complex and grounded depiction of their flaws. Okay, so with that being said, like when the movie starts, you get jumped in on like an ongoing story, which you have to learn what's really going on, like the backstories from through the dialogue and everything. Which I love movies like that. I mean, if y'all remember the original Star Wars was like that. Like you get thrown in a world, so every piece of narrative counts. There's no, oh, this is a throwaway line here and this throwaway line there. Like everything counts to understand what the humanity between the characters. Like they own, you understand the relationships, you understand I would say more of you understand why they motivations a lot. You understand that, and I love. That's why I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I mean, a Song of Ice and Fire fan. I don't even want to say Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is just one book if y'all don't know. But I'm a Song of Ice and Fire fan because like how they present, how George R. R. Martin presents chapters it's like the Bible. It's in that person's point of view. So that's why I feel like I ain't gonna say feel like this is what this movie does. It throws you right in the mix of things. You learn whose motivations, why they doing this. Is that something deeper with this character? And you learn a lot. And like there's some things I missed, like spoiler alert. I hate to have to say that just in case anybody watching the background. Like it didn't click to me that one of Smoke's the person that died Smoke was referring to was his son. And it kind of clicked on me with the milk, but it didn't really hit me. Like it didn't really hit me till I saw the little scene on down the road. So that a little bit went over my head. Like I'm over here trying to figure out him and another character's relationship, and then it didn't hit me that they had some trauma between them, like fully. I knew they had trauma, but I wasn't sure where that trauma was actually coming from. If I should say that, and I wish I want to kind of rewatch it just to just grasp that scene again, because like sometimes with dialogue, if you could be missing something if you're not really peeping game, and that would happen to me there. That's on me. I should have called on that. Sinners is more, it was more about yeah, it was more about more a lot more about than vampires, I should say. So usually in stories, um, they use vampires for something between underlying theme between in that society. Like in some cases, vampires were like your aristocrats, because I mean that's technically what they were. If you want to get back down to the origins of vampires in like the Western sense is from uh, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Tepes, Vladimir Tepes, Prince, Crown Prince of Romania, with back then was Wachovia. So basically, like his whole thing was he was held hostage to the Ottomans. I'm paraphrasing here, and he saw a lot of his countrymen, his so-called countrymen, going making deals with the Ottomans, and he saw all that growing up. So when he actually got into power, when his father died or uncle died, one or two, I can't remember off the top of my head. He got up. He knew the Ottomans was about to take over, so he got up all the people he saw hold court with the Ottomans at the time. He had them all impaled and spikes all down from the border all the way down to the crown, the capital city. So that literally stopped the invasion of the Ottomans to Western Europe, and for like 100 years, something like that. Maybe a little. I might like 80 years or something like that. That freaked him out so bad. But that's why he was called Vladimir the Impaler, and that's how Dracula, the stories of Dracula emerged. It was always vampire. It was somewhat vampires is an older thing, but like for the westerns, that was like the main one, that the main story that get caught up in that. So like in this case, the main character, the main character, no, not the main villain, the main protagonist, because all of them was protagonists in their own way, because they was, like I said, the money antagonist. Excuse me, antagonist. The only protagonist was Sammy, in my opinion. Um, See, Remick is the main vampire. If y'all know anything about the name Remick or Remy and stuff like that, it's ironic that Remy was the name of the Michael Rappaport character in Higher Learning. I find that fun. That was a good good little nod to from Kugel. I dig that. But Remick was like Dracula's name in Bram Stoker's Dracula, I believe. Now, let me quote that. Let me make sure that's right. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. What I know, Remick was a dude's name in there. Let's see. I'll go back to that. I believe it. That's and because Dracula, the story, the Bram Stoker's well, yeah, that story was based in, I believe, Ireland itself in a way. Yeah, Jonathan Harker, Transylvania. No, yeah, one of the dudes was oh yeah. So this is the oh yeah, that happened in Transylvania. That's right. It's a story where I can't remember what story it was. It's a folklore story. Don't quote me on that, man. I'm the oh yeah. Genesis one. Like like Remick character, right? He is Irish. His well, honestly, not true. We don't know what he exactly is because we don't know exactly how old that vampire was. That's Jack O'Dunn's character, who we don't necessarily know how old he is because like vampires, they could be immortal, you know. And there's a lot of, so there's metaphors to the seven deadly sins. There's metaphors to so- just society and society how they saw how they looked at the immigrants and the blacks, you know, Black America at the time and Asian America. Like one thing I really appreciate Kugler doing because like people don't understand. Like imagine owning a store during Jim Crow Mississippi, owning multiple stores, one side on the white side and one side on the black side. The Asian family, that's what they were doing. So it was very like the mom ran the white store, the dad ran the black store. So that dichotomy was really dope because like you saw how they end up becoming mediators between both sides in a way. That was dope because that's true story. Like in some of these, especially see where they was at, that was pretty much called Delta, Mississippi, which is like right off the Mississippi Delta, right a hop, skip, and jump away from New Orleans. Um, a lot of blue. That's where a lot of like the blues musicians and stuff came from in general. Like all the blues that came from there went straight to in Louisiana. Like all that little area right there, that was a hotbed of like. That's what they call like the chitlin circuit, all the juke joints and everything. That little area was a hotbed for like so many. I mean, I could, man. I mean, you if you go Google that, I mean, I can't. It's so many blues legends came from that little area. You know, that's a hotbed. I mean, it makes sense because like blues is a. I mean, if you sharecropping, all y'all doing singing, and then I like the fact they showed the chain gang and how they were singing and stuff. Like that's where a lot of music from black culture came from, was from that area. Because I mean, we all seen Django. Like Django depict. Yeah, I'll make sure I say that right. That area probably the most accurate when it comes to the brutal nature of slavery. In a film, I mean, you could say 12 Years a Slave too did that, but like Mississippi was pretty much the one of the worst places to be at. Because I even I'm not saying it was good anywhere, like legit good anywhere else, but like Mississippi was the worst. Like already from Vicksburg on down, that was like the worst, and that's where a lot of that stuff, the hatred and everything simmered up. I mean, everybody seen Mississippi burn and all that stuff. So yeah, that was known as being one of the worst spots for slavery. So it makes sense. Like the worse the oppression is somewhere, the more people try to find escapes. That's when you start having a lot of the music. Because I think about it, like look at all the places where music just thrived. At you have a lot of people coming up out of nowhere making good ass music. Like your Nash, like look at Nashville. Nashville, like Appalachia's right there. You know what I mean? Kentucky, all those cats who was like doing the Nashville thing, the country music thing, they all came from fucking Blue Mountains, Stone Mountain, all the Appalachian Trail, all them. That's where a lot of the country singers came from. That goes back to like the my standpoint of so a lot of was former soldiers. A lot of them came from like mining communities and stuff like that. That came from that in Irish, like the Irish community. That's what Remick represents stuff. Because like if he came from Ireland, like they betrayed him as, he lost a lot of people just in general from mining, from the famine back in Ireland. So he that's where all that came from, where he wanted to get a piece of Sammy, because that was when like two cultures are colliding a little bit, because the Irish had their own thing, the soldiers had their own thing, then we had our own thing. That's how you like folk gospel that turns into blues. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything mix and mingle together. You know, that's how you get some of this stuff we cherish now. Because like without blues, you want to have metal, you want to have R&B, you want to have funk, soul, and eventually hip hop and reggae. Like reggae and hip hop, but all came from that stuff we just saw in this movie. The blues, the way they play guitars, the way they not understand how to react to a crowd, the showmanship, all that came from the goddamn Mississippi Delta, from hard times. What you know about hard times? To quote the great Dusty Rhodes. But like, so how I look at the main antagonist, if we're gonna put anybody in categories as in with the sin, because it says sinners. So what is actually the sin? What sin are they committing? What sin are they holding to not allow them to be that what they are meant to be? So in Remick's case, he had a lot of envy, because what he saw is Sammy. He saw youthfulness. He saw a connection to some type of culture, community culture, and his music will last through through a damn near 100 years, a century or more. It will grab, and that's what you saw at the end. I'm going to spoil it. That's what you saw in the end of the movie. So I would say Remick suffered a lot from envy. That was motivates him. He was envious of somebody that had the gift of of creating culture. Because here's the thing, it's an old saying. Like I ain't gonna say old saying. Well, it's old now, but like J.R. Tolkien once said this, like evil doesn't create, it corrupts. So he saw the good in Sammy from his music. He saw that Sammy had a good heart. Even though Sammy did quote unquote sin in the movie, he never lost his identity. He never lost what made him him. So that's why he became what he became. Everybody else lost who they were. Like to, I go to Seven David Seas now to put my point across. So every one of these characters had had a piece of the sin of the old saying of deadly sins. Like there was one character. I'll go here. For example, Beatrice, the chick who the wife that the quote unquote girl that was into Sammy, she was married. So in all intents and purposes, she was married, but she went against her marriage because she lusted after Sammy. Uh, let's see, Gluttony, that was the Delta character, Delta Slim. He was drinking corn liquor all the time. All he did was he pretty much was drinking himself to death. You know what I'm saying? He Gluttony, like a lot of times, gluttony is not just food. It's in drink. It's everything but what you're supposed to be doing. In his case, he felt guilty from losing. He felt guilty that people around him died from the music he loved. So he went against his nature. He pretty much went against his nature in a lot of ways. Like he wanted to be. I forgot what he wanted to be. Damn. He wanted to be successful. He wanted to do this, but like he pretty much drunk his wealth away and saw his friend die because that she saw his friend die and everything. That's a whole nother. That's a deeper story. Like, it's a sad story too. So Sloth is pretty much the dude who played Cornbread. What's it? Omar Benson Miller character. So Cornbread was he was supposed to be he was a bouncer. And he was always he when they introduced him he was a sharecropper that wasn't making his quota for various reasons. So I mean, he was lazy. He was pretty much lazy. How they were depicting him. Let's see. Greed is Stack. The Stack. That's one of the twins. The one that were on my thumbnail. He was wearing red. Matter of fact, let me. I could put my thumbnail up here. Hold up. Let's see. Let me do this. All right, got it. All right, he's the one wearing red in this. That's Stack. So what I'm trying to figure out is Wrath. So Pride would be Haley Steinfeld character because she was very powerful in the whole movie. We all thought like she was if you watch the movie, you didn't know who Haley Steinfeld was. You didn't know she was mixed race or anything. You think she a white chick or everything, which is no, you know, nothing against that, but like she held herself in high regard the whole movie, and she felt like she knew more than I mean she was kind of you could kind of lean into rap because she was kind of mad at the twins because um they had some backstory. No, 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 no. They never lean into like any past lifetimes. they were leaning into their own personal decisions of not becoming who they were meant to be. So a lot of them did things or was committing things that took them away from their own purpose in life. Like for example, um, Tanaj, yeah, that should be not her name. Tanaj Jackson's character, she lusted after Sammy. She literally abandoned her husband at home. They never showed her husband, which I mean that could have been a lie or whatever. But she was like really into to Sammy because like he knew how to play music and stuff. So she was the character of Lust really. Um, I would say Helena, the Lisa Child character. That's one. She was the wife of Bo. She, you could argue that that's rap too because like of a point that happened in the movie. Let's see. So a lot of these characters had probably even multiple seven deadly sins. A part of their character. But like um okay, like Rufy's character, she she might be the most likable character other than Sammy in the movie because like she had she had that motherly charm to her, even though and be that as it may, she did voodoo. Like that's part of like slave culture back not slave culture, sharecropper culture back in the Mississippi Delta era. It's still probably happening right now as we speak. But so she ran a voodoo shop and stuff. She was protecting a lot of the kids with like the wards and everything like that. So yeah, but she was one that kind of knew what she figured out what was going on. She they fell victim to their own the results of their sin. Like the Ralph and like the twins suffer from like greed and wrath. Like Smoke lost his kid, so he was a soldier, so he took all he just accepted the fact that he was meant to be a killer. So he accepted that I'm never gonna be anything more than that, which isn't his choice. That's if you believe in higher power, that's the Lord's choice. But he decided that hey, I'm gonna be this and this is how I'm gonna be. And a lot of that came from the fact that he tried to do right and go he went to back in Mississippi, they had these areas where it was like a free, like kind of like Rosewood, where like it was a black owned, it was their version of Tulsa, Black Wall Street. It was their own like area, but like because his father's, which they never really get into who his father was and everything, because his actions that led to that community not accepting him and smoking stack there to like restart their whole life. They didn't want no part of what they were doing. So he just accepted the fact that I'm never gonna be no more than what I am right now. So to put another thing, they lean into the fact that the colors they wore, right? If you know anything about first of all, they went to Chicago after all that what I just discussed. They went to Chicago and they was helping. And this is based off a true, not this that part. The story is not based off a true story, but there was um there was people who it's some not legend. It's some criminals that went from the Mississippi Delta and went to Chicago and did work with the Capone, the Chicago outfit. That's what they called the mobsters back then. The mobsters in Chicago. So you had your five back then. You had your five families, and then you had like the Chicago situation, Chicago and Philadelphia, and then eventually they all kind of branched out, like Kansas City, Detroit, everything like this kind of branched out. But back then it was like Chicago, New York, and somewhat some Philadelphia and like Atlantic City and stuff like that. So they basically played each side against each other. That's how they got their money. Like one is dressed up, like one twin is dressed up like Al Capone and them with the derby hat, and the other one's dressed like the Irish mobsters with the I forgot what that called. I forgot what that hat called. But like they both play each other's, and that's how they end up getting. They got a lot of booze from each side. The wine from the Italians, and the Irish beer from the Irish. So they basically ran a play on both crime families. And that in during that time, if you don't know, both crime families was shooting out with each other it's during prohibition. Well, right after prohibition, actually, it's like 1930. So prohibition just fell through. So they, you still had those gang wars going on and stuff. And it might be right before Capone actually went to jail. So I'll take that out. So that was kind of a cool, like a cool historical situation. One playing one side, the other playing the other side, and there was some twins that actually did that too. All right, let me see if they actually show that over here. What's crazy too, man, is how another theme is the whole beware of false idols situation. Because Remy kind of because he was so envious, he was trying to convince everybody. He was trying to the thing about vampires in the current tropes, the historic, the legends of vampires exist in this movie. Like, yeah, you have to invite them in. That's a play on how the vampire, like the political vampires, if you don't let them in your house, you're never gonna be really affected by them. They like to charm you, get that- and then it's other aspects of vampires like the merchant. You let the merchant in your house, he'll steal you from house and home. Back in the day, like once upon a time, merchants was like the worst group of people because that was the one group of people that they'll go to rival countries, and they will get information. They had their own class of like information peddling the whole nine. That's been the story with the merchant class for years since ancient Egypt and shit like that. A lot of times when you get invading army got information was through the merchant class because they'll make a deal with them and say, hey, tell us what you see, what weakness they got over there. The next thing you know, they know exactly what weakness, Troy got or something like that or whatever. I'm not saying Troy, but like whatever, whatever he did it. So the vampire means a lot of things in culture. Salute to you, Easy. I think so. I think it's around that range. It's in the Delta. It's around that range because I think that's where they filmed it at. Don't quote me, but like it's not necessarily. It's not based on a true story, of course, but like so. Let me see more of this. This is what Ryan. This is more of what Ryan Coogler said. Yeah, shit. I probably got some family out there too. While he bullshitting, like a lot. Most of my family is from East Texas, Louisiana. Got some in Bama and Georgia too. But I mean, we deep. I put it that way. As noted, Kugler commented on the theme of identity incentives, which I discussed earlier a little bit. Yeah, you probably saw that juke joint they use. That one of the foreign plays they use. Anyway, identity incentives. He smoked as good as killing people as Sammy is good as singing and as Stack is good at come up schemes and talking people into doing things they might not want to do. How individuals view themselves within the community is just as important to the story. Smoke wants Sammy to go down the straight and narrow path, but in the end, Sammy reasserts himself as a blues musician, embrace all the connotation that go with that. So yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. Back to my theory about Sammy being the ultimate protagonist, because your what you meant to do might be unpleasant to some, or might people might look down upon. Like think about it like a comedian, right? If you're a heart, if you don't understand what people gain out of comedy, you won't understand anybody want to be a comedian. See, because like being a comedian, for example, you're making people days, but when they come in, you making their day better. That's all you trying to. One way or the other, you trying to either make them laugh at your jokes or make them laugh how bad you are. But something they gonna gain something from that interaction from coming to that club. They gonna gain either something thought provoking or they gonna have a good time. It's something's gonna come from that, and hopefully it makes somebody a better human being at that time. In blues and music in general, you touching people humanity, like when you literally like being on rhythm, you literally touching somebody's heartbeat. Because when you in rhythm and in touch with what they their heartbeat, they feel a good time. They enjoy the music. It's pleasant to them. You know what I'm saying? So that that cannot be seen. That cannot, in my opinion, you can't. Going away from that would be the biggest sin, because like you going away from something you enjoy doing, you can impact people in a positive way because what other people guilt and fear thinks of the occupation. And what I like about, in case y'all, if y'all, I mean, I hope y'all saw the movie, y'all in here, but I like the fact on the one of the mid credit scenes, the dude Sammy actually plays a hymn in blues form. So it kind of proves his dead wrong that blues is only for sinful people. Music is not only for sinful people. It can always be used for sin, but it could be used for good too. It could be used, hey, I'm singing about the Lord here, which he did. He sing Little Light of Mine, you know. He seemed pretty good. And I like the fact that, by the way, the person who played the older Sammy was Buddy Guy. And if y'all don't know who Buddy Guy is, man, he's a legend. That's a legit legend. He played with Jimmy. Believe it or not, I had a co-worker who played with him. He played the bass. And I used to play the bass guitar. I still got this in the closet, but I need to get some done to it. That's a whole nother subject. But you know, he told me about how Buddy Guy was, how cool he was, how like he told him stories when he was around Jimmy, Band of Gypsies, the whole nine. So man, I really appreciate that, because like that's, to me, that's Black history. That's like walking Black history. I mean, the stories he could tell, but like really embracing your purpose was really to me the moral of the story in this whole movie, and not letting the outside noise stop you from your purpose. So let me, I really dig what. And another thing, just to let y'all know, and this surprised me. This movie is critically acclaimed, right? Usually with movies like that, even though it's somewhat action horror type, there was no like messaging outside of what I've been talking about. It wasn't no shoehorn relationship that would probably wouldn't went down in fucking Delta, Mississippi at the time. And I mean, use your imagination if y'all know what I'm talking about. How you doing, Tisha? Use your imagination with if y'all know what I'm talking about. But there was no ham fisted. Hey, let me put this such and such relationship here or this relationship here. It was more of, hey, let's embrace what this time period was. Yeah, the Klan was in this movie. They get what get what they came for. I put it at that. I kind of want y'all to watch it on your own because that was pleasant. Because fuck the Klan. I'm just being 100 about that. But like I just I dig the whole movie, man. And I mean, right now, you know what? Let me get on some of the theories on the ending because I got it right here. This is a variety article because I'm think I'm pretty much done with that. Yup, that was it on that. Oh, I need to say this. Kruger also comment on the original inspiration of for this movie. When people think about 1930s Mississippi, first thing that comes to mind is segregation, hard times, segregation. Okay, is that comma? Oh, spirit. Okay, that's weird. That's weird wording. Hard times. You don't think about people dealing with all that, actually having a good time, like having a party so good you wish you go to it. I was like, oh yeah, we might have a movie here, and not just a movie, but a movie for our time now. There's something to that because I could see them making a version of this movie now. What's going on now? I could definitely see that. Not just. What you talk? Hey, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, but like what I was saying earlier, easy is that out of all the places that got the worst situation, I know what you mean, but worst situation. I mean, pretty much you could go down the list of all the movies based in Mississippi during slavery. Like, if you want to say who had it the worst, that would be Mississippi. I'm just being 100 too easy. You could say up here and say, well, nah, everybody else did it. Yeah, we know everybody else did it. We're not saying nobody else didn't do it. We just saying Mississippi was the worst. Alabama, Louisiana, second or third if you want to go there. I mean, it probably two A, two B. Then Texas, I would put that up in there. But like when you talk about like Tennessee and all that, I mean, we go down all the fucking Confederate, Southern, Dixiecrat states if you really want to get down to it. You know, easy. Yo, man, come on, Mississippi Burning itself. R.P. Gene Hackman, great ass movie. That's one of my, even though it's messed up, it's one of my all timers there of Gene Hackman movies, man. So apparently, oh yeah, I'm not the. Hey, I already know in Tulsa. Look, easy. You don't have to take offense, but when people talk about Jim Crow, like legit Jim Crow. You can't get no worse than fucking Mississippi. You can't get worse than Mississippi. I'm just saying. I mean, by the way, I believe Ron Coogler need to get an Oscar nod for this movie. No matter what else come out, him and whoever made Warfare, two of the best movies I've seen in the last since Oppenheimer. All right, let me go here. Look, man, I'm just saying, dude. I know. Like Mississippi ain't the high mark of social. I ain't gonna say social progressivism because that's a negative term. Like, right? I mean, everything just got cool in a lot of cases. The premise. Let's see. I already went through all that. Let's see. Then we recruits him. Yeah, we went through that. We talk about the story. Song of the story of a group of people, a small community on the part. All that about that. All right, I'm getting into the ending a little bit. If y'all, all right, I know now, easy. I know now, but like at one point in time, that wasn't looked upon. But hey, look, Ole Miss changed the game, man. When they start letting the brothers on Ole Miss and everything, man, like hey, something had to give. Something had to give, man. It should kept us at Jackson State, man. Mississippi Valley and stuff. Anyway, let me get in this. It's a gore sequence that with a loss of staking and blood squirts. By the end, staking and blood squirts, the vampires. I'm like, what the hell? He said staking for? And by the end, it's Smoke and Sammy against Remick and the remaining mob. They're saved by the rising sun and fortuitous. Bye. Pause, real quick. Pause. I gotta drink me some water, man. My mouth got dry as hell. I think right then. Shit. All right, that's better. Fortuitous assist by Sammy's trusty guitar, but there's no end to revel in their victory. Smoke sends Sammy home because Remick warned them of the clan coming. One thing I like about this is Remick. That Remick is a great villain because all the stuff he tried to do right, he still told him, "Hey, the clan come in the morning." So basically, he was doing it. Hey, the clan coming here in the morning. You might as well be one of us, so you'll have a better chance of dispersing them, which wouldn't make any sense because it'd be daylight. But that was a flaw in his thinking. He was just trying to manipulate them to go and surrender. But like that's a good villain. Like you doing all this evil shit, trying to get one person for your own selfish reasons, but then say, "Hey, you might as well come with us because the clan gonna come in the morning. You ain't gonna have nothing to do with you ain't got nothing for that. You're gonna die anyway." They was setting up to kill you, delete you, delete you. Let's see. When Hogwood and his merry band of racists, that's funny, that's a good word. Merry band of racists arrive at Sawmill at dawn. They expect to catch the twins unaware, but they were prepared. They were prepared for trouble with a stash of heavy artillery, just in case things got hairy. Smoke picks his attackers one by one with military precision. If nothing else, he'll go out with a blaze of glory. Smoke ultimately successful in the mission, but he's also struck by a bullet. It's still a happy ending though, as he has a vision where he was united with Annie in the afterlife and gets to hold their baby daughter in his arms. I didn't know it was a daughter. That threw me off. I didn't know that. I thought it was a son. Okay, I need to rewatch that part. Meanwhile, bloody Sammy drives a twins car. So it goes back to the first scene where he goes to church and everything. So Sammy has lived a long life, and most importantly, has realized his dreams of becoming a traveling musician. The club is named Perlin after his first love, which is the married woman. But that's not the end, where Sammy's stories end. Mid credits, Sammy enjoys a drink at the bar. After the night show, he's visited by ghosts of his past, Stack and Mary. Mary's hold up, which one's Mary? Hold up. Which one's Mary? I just went blank. That's Stanfield's character. All right, let me go back to that. Smoke. Hold up, where I'm at. The ageless couple walks in dressed in a 90s apparel, 90s finest, and the audience learn that they also survived the night. Smoke spared Stack's life after making him promise to let Sammy live out his life, and the couple fled to safety before the rest of the town was scorched by the sunrise. Now they return with an offer. Stack can sense that death is coming for the old man. I can make it so that you can stick around, he says. But Sammy, make sure. But Sammy is content with the time he's had in decline. Stack has another request to hear Sammy perform some of the old school blues for them one more time. Sammy obliged, then confesses he still has nightmare about what happened in 1932, but he says before the sun went down, it was the best day of his life. Stack agrees wholeheartedly because it was the last time he saw his brother, and because for a few hours they were all free. Then the couple vanished into the night. Coogler told Entertainment Weekly that the credits scene was particularly emotional to shoot because it reminded him of his Uncle James. I thought about Bone Thugs right there, but yeah, Uncle Charles, but that's a whole nother story. I broke down crying in tears because I realized that this whole movie was about that. The filmmaker said it was about me not having the chance to say goodbye to my uncle. The post credit scene. This sequence, which comes to the very end of the reel, is short and sentimental. It features a young Sammy singing "This Little Light of Mine" and strumming that old guitar incense before the fateful night. So again, that's why I said like he is the protagonist because he was the only one that knew who he was gonna be deterred from becoming who he was, and he ended up being pretty much the last one standing after living. The I'm not counting Stack. So that was the ending on that, and I want to see the theories. That's what I really want to see if there's. Oh, I'll share this. Yeah, this proved the point of me saying so. The sloth, that's a sin. So I called that before I even read this. It's crazy. I had this pen up, but I didn't really fully read this. Can I hiccup? God, can I be human? Shit. Oh, got that right too. constantly drinking. Uh, do not feel like going on Facebook because that would dox me. I'm not doing that. Oh shit. Hell yeah, Phoenix, you good. I'm just teasing. But that's about it, man. I did an hour by myself and said all this stuff. What you think about that, man? It's almost like I watched the movie. Was really into it. Link is pinned, man. Yeah. Oh, make sure is the link pinned. Phoenix. I'll pin it. Easy. Y'all can come up here if y'all want to. I'm pretty much. If y'all had any questions about the movie, man. That is funny. Hey, Thumbnail Lady, you'll really enjoy that movie, man. I was actually shocked how good it was. I highly suggest that movie, man. Screen Rant actually had a good. Now you got me stuttering. Now, Thumbnail Lady, I was chilling today, man. Now you shook me up, man. So tomorrow, I'm doing a live based on. I was requested to talk about like comic collection, how to like really get your comic collection up and running, and what's the difference between the ages and what to really invest in if you can. And then we got trivia now. Tomorrow gonna be a different type of trivia. I'm gonna do the same app, but after I get done with this, I'm gonna be making a couple of topic of it. I'm not gonna participate in this because of course I'm gonna be making it be conflict of interest. I'll be making a trivia, so I'm gonna be making the trivia for tomorrow. I'm debating. I was requested to doing music like 80s and 90s, 80s through 2000s, like pop culture, like music, hip hop, like from hip hop and R&B, maybe some pop, a little bit, maybe some rock. What's up, Twigs? Maybe some rock, and probably do some video game history if y'all into that. Like I'm a real big proponent of like Mortal Kombat. I'm thinking about doing a topic like Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, which if you grew up in the 90s, 80s and 90s, like that was a big thing. Which one was better? I kind of want to combine that and like have trivia with like a whole bunch of random facts on both franchises, and maybe add some like SNK or anything related, or spin off of those games or whatnot. Because if y'all don't know, like Street Fighter and Fatal Fury was supposed to be Street Fighter 2 at once upon a time, but they the developers split off. That's why Street Fighter 2 is totally different from Street Fighter 1. That's a little history, video game history for y'all. Like I kind of want to make it do something different, man. Like so, if y'all have any ideas other than what I discussed just then, I mean, let me know. Send me something on X if y'all can. Like I'm always on X, checking up on crazy stories or whatnot. Oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna do a community post and y'all tell me what y'all want in that a little later on when I do it. But I'm gonna try to get like probably like 3 or 4 rounds full of trivia based on those couple of topics. Do something different. I probably want again. I'm not going to participate because I'm making the trivia. You can actually make the trivia on that app I've been using. So I even thought about doing like Madden trivia, like talk about like who was the best, the highest rated team in Madden 95, which was, it's a certain team. I'm not gonna say. I might use that question, but like, stuff like that. Who was on the cover on Madden 16 or some shit, which I can't remember. I think that was that Peyton Hillis? Don't quote. I don't know. It can't be Peyton Hillis. He was gone. He was out the league, man. But I figured that out. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. Talk about TV shows. Like, I even thought about one every like certain select, something like that. Something like that. I, Twitch, you a quarterback club dude, man? That game right there, man, it was on and off. Like, one year it'd be good, one year it'd be like dog shit. I remember NFL Game Day back in the day. Oh, NFL Fever. That's the Xbox game, right? Yeah, I would figure that out. But if anybody don't want to join, come up, man. Like, I think I'm done, man. I don't spoke about the movie. Shit. But I highly suggest, like, I want a lot of people to watch this movie though. But like, I kind of spoiled it in this. I mean, read the disclaimer. I hope everybody did watch it with it if they was on the in the chat. But yeah, it is what it is. But with that being said, I think I'm end this. I'm also working on this trivia stuff. Get this all together. Y'all have a nice night, man. Like, share, and subscribe. And appreciate everybody coming through for your boy. Appreciate it. All right, Phoenix. Sayonara.